Hello, my friends. Hello, welcome. Can you believe it is May? Can you believe it is May? I can't believe it's May. Oh my goodness. I keep thinking I still have time to do my March wrap up because I haven't put it on Instagram yet. And now all of a sudden it's May and I have to be doing my April wrap up. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe it's May. It is so insane to me. Just like this little hair. What is this hair doing? Yeah, anyways, happy May. So that means that it's time to discuss a May TBR. We're going to talk about what my library has told me I need to read this month. And I'm doing this a little bit late, so I do have just one book on my TBR that has already gone back to the library, but this was on my beginning of May TBR, so I will be putting it in this video just to hold myself accountable. So yeah, we're just going to talk about books that my library says I have to read and return this month. Nothing out of my library TBR is going to be in this video outside of my library TBR. Yeah. Words are hard. I'm doing not so great already and we're a minute into recording. Also, just in case you're wondering, I have lost both my thumbnails, okay? Both of them. I'm trying a new nail kit and it just does not work on my thumbs shape-wise. If you have ever done like press-on nails, you might understand that some press-on nails come in a set shape that just does not work if your nails don't completely abide by that shape. So yes, that's where my thumbnails have gone away into the trash. Anyways, let's talk about, I think it's 11 books that's on my like library TBR this month. I have them listed on my phone. So if you're like, what is she looking at? It's my phone. That way I don't have to be looking at anything on my screens and getting crazy reflections because as you can see, we get crazy reflections here. It's great. Also, before we get into it, I have some life updates and channel updates to discuss with you. I will do it at the end of the video though, so you can get my TBR and then we can talk about a little bit of some life updates and things you can expect from this channel going forward after we talk about these books though. Okay, so the first book that was on my May TBR, I keep almost calling it my April TBR. The first one was The Hemlock Queen. Author, I cannot remember. I'm sorry. This is the second book in a series, which is why I returned it to the library already. This was on my April TBR. I started this month like I'm going to finish and read this book. And then I started it. I didn't remember who anybody was. I could not exactly remember where we left off. They're talking about plot points that I was like, wait, do I even know that this happened? Or is this something they're bringing to me new? So I had to set that book down and then I looked it up. Turns out second in a series. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to read this right now. I will wait until the third book comes out in the series and just do a full reread. All right. If people say the third book is worth it, I would do a full reread. But I know that the first book in that series was not received super well by everybody. So we will see how the third book goes. So that is the first book I wanted to read this month. Already a failure, and I haven't even publicized my TBR. But now we will move into books that are due on the 7th of May. And I think I have two of these. Yes. The first one is Their Vicious Games by Joelle Wellington, and this is about a girl who is graduating from like a preparatory school and she was going to go to Yale, but she had her Yale acceptance rescinded for some reason that we don't know. So she then gets invited to play this like game from the Remingtons, which already that name just gives me bad vibes. So she gets invited to play this game and the winner gets a full ride to whatever university they want to go to. And obviously there's something sinister going on and the games end up being like life or death. Yep, that's what this one is. I'm hoping to get to it. I've started it. I've read like part of the first chapter and the vibes are there, but we will see if it gets read or not. Like it sounds really interesting. I'm such a mood reader that it's hard for me to just be like, yes, I'm going to sit down and read this. But I do really want to read that one. So the other book I have that is due on the 7th is Game On by Ceresia Glass. This one is about what does she do? Does she write things? She's a DEIA consultant for equal representation in video games. And then this guy is a big dude in this like game development company, and his game gets some flack for not like having good representation. So he reaches out to her and is like, can you help me fix this. I don't want to have this be a problem in the future. He like feels bad about it, so she helps him and a romance blooms. The author of this is also the author of the Love Con, which I had DNF'd that early last year just because it was like cinnamon roll on cinnamon roll, and that's just not generally my kind of like romance. I feel like there needs to be a little bit of like, they can't both be just like upstanding citizens for me. You know, I don't know. There needs to be like a little bit of grit. And in the Love Con, I didn't find that. But for now, I'm just going to try and read this one. Just a little, hopefully cute romance about gaming related stuff. So hopefully I like this one a little bit more than I liked the Love Con. So then on the 9th of May, I have a couple books due. And the first one on the list that my library gave me is To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods. Look at how shiny this thing is. Not only is it shiny from the library's covering, but it's shiny because it's shiny. And it actually has like a little poster inside. I feel like this is like some sort of special edition, but it's got like a poster in here. Two-sided. Whoa! That's upside down. I can't make it go the right way. But yeah, fancy edition here at the library. Wonder how long that'll last. But yeah, this is To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods by Molly X. Chang. And this has been a little bit of a center item of some drama or controversy. Some people say it's a colonizer romance, and some people say it's just not good, and some people say turn your brain off, read it, it's fun. So I'm gonna give it a go, hopefully, and see what I think about it. I don't know if I'm really the person who can come out and be like, this is or is not a colonizer romance. I do not feel equipped to make those decisions, but I'm just going to read it because it was on my like most anticipated reads of the year, and we will see. I don't know. I don't really like books where they make somebody up to be like a love interest and then don't really have the follow through if you're trying to pull the rug out from under them. Like, I think that ACOTAR did it. They did it, but I don't know if they did it well. And I know that like Shadow and Bone tried to do it, and I don't think they did it well either. Like, I know that like in ACOTAR, after a while, you're kind of like, I get like, I'm not on team original love interest, obviously, because they throw him into the mud, but I just don't feel like anybody has ever really done a good like love interest switcheroo. You know, I don't feel like it's really been accomplished. If it has been, let me know in the comments and I will check out whatever it is that you're recommending, because I would love to read something like that where I'm not like left reeling initially and confused when the initial love interest just gets kind of like ruined. Editing Malo here. I think the term I'm looking for is character assassination. You know, like when all of a sudden a character is just behaving completely differently. Like, I think we got that with ACOTAR. Yeah, I think that's the term that I'm looking for, where it's not exactly like alluded to in the text that maybe there's something weird going on. It's just all of a sudden the character is not acting the way that they'd been acting. You know, does that make sense? I don't know. I'm tired. Yeah, so I'm interested to see how this goes. And this is due on the 9th of May. So this is due on the 14th of May, and that is Immortal Pleasures by V. Castro. And I'm slowly starting to see people come out and talk about their thoughts on this book. Like, I've only seen like one, maybe two people talk about it, but it was on my most anticipated reads of this year. And I know it's on a couple other people's. So I'm hoping that more people come out and talk about it, because I have started this. I'm just a little bit in. And I have some thoughts. So this is due on the 14th. I originally thought when I got this, I would be like all up in it, just like reading it immediately. And I was. And then she said that this guy was making her feel like it was full of bees. And I was like, oh, I need to sit down and take a break from this book for a little bit. And since then, I've heard some other lines like squids and stuff about this book, and I am so confused what this is actually going to be about. So this is on the 14th. I'm hoping to like work my way through it, because I did really want to read this year, but I don't know if I feel like I need to lower my hopes and expectations on this one. So yeah, Immortal Pleasures. I keep trying to call it Immortal Gods. Immortal Pleasures, that's due on the 14th this month. On the 21st, bit of a jump there. I have Star Wars Return of the Jedi from a Certain Point of View, and this is by 40 different authors. So if you're familiar with this concept, it's just like a whole bunch of short stories set in this specific time period. They've done a couple of them. It looks like quite a tome, but once you open it and see like just how big the font is, it's definitely a doable read. It's about 600 pages, which is a lot in theory, but I think when you think about it being like 600 pages of short stories at this font size, like it's not that big of a read. So I'm excited. I will at least be reading Thea Guanzon's and Ali Hazelwood stories, which is why I picked this one up, because it's got some Raylo authors in there. So I'm really excited to read this. I was hoping to read this for a May the 4th video. Don't expect that video. That's not coming this month. So yeah, but I do want to read this before it's due on the 21st. Then on the 22nd, we have a couple books that I just literally checked out. I just picked them up and they're already like, you got to return them. You can't renew them. And one of them is The Last One by Will Dean. And I can't say much about this book other than it's about a woman who wakes up on a cruise ship alone. Like she gets on the cruise ship, people are there, she wakes up, she's alone. Yeah, so this one was on my list. I don't know, I'm speaking nonsense here. The other one I just picked up was Done and Dusted by Lila? Yeah, Lila Sage. And I see everybody talking about this series. I am going to be honest and have a hot opinion. What do they call it? A hot take. There we go. I'm hip with the children. I don't like these covers. I don't like them. And I think part of it is that like just the fact that they're like making out and the pink makes it look like that her tongue is sticking out. And I'm not a fan of that. All right. I'm just not a big fan of that. So I'm super excited for this one. I feel like this series is going to fill the hole in my heart that was left by the end of Chestnut Springs. If you have any other recommendations for things that will fill that hole, like this is also like a much quicker read than anything in Chestnut Springs, let me know. The other book that I've picked up hoping to kind of fill that void is this like Tangled in Texas vibe, but I've never heard anybody talk about this one. And whenever that happens, I always kind of worry that like, is this problematic in some way? I don't know. I always worry if there's something that's like so similar to something that's popular, but nobody's talking about it. Like, did I miss something about like the author? I don't know, but I also have this. So as you can see, I'm going into my cowboy romance era, but this one has to be returned this month. So I'm prioritizing this one over Tangled in Texas. But if you have any other recommendations for things along this line, let me know. Also, anything that's just like best friend's little sister or like brother's best friend, like for some reason, like that separation is just like, I love it so much. There's like so much good angst there. I don't even know how to explain it right now, but you know, like they grew up together, they had all these like thoughts about what each other were, and then maybe they spend some time apart and they come back and they have to like relearn who the other person is, and maybe they were wrong, maybe they had some misconceptions, and there's this angst because they feel like they shouldn't be dating. I don't know, I love it so much. So if you have any other recommendations for like that kind of pairing or cowboy romance, let me know. But yeah, this one has to be done by the 22nd. The last one for the 22nd of May. This one doesn't have a like you have to return it yet, but this was a DNF for me in March, I think. And I didn't finish it in March. I had to return it to the library because somebody else put it on hold. It took until this like first week of May for me to get this book back after like immediately putting it back on hold. So I'm kind of expecting to not be able to keep it for that long. So right now I have this through the 22nd. And as far as I know, there isn't anybody else who's put a holdout on it. I'm including it in here because I do kind of need to read it. If I return it unread, I'm not checking it back out again. I kind of have like a limit of like 2-3 times tops I will check something out. But this one I think is a 2-timer. So this book, if you're not familiar, is a very short little novella about a sapphic romance, and one of them wants to have a child and the other one just goes with it even though she's not really sure about it, and things kind of go from there. I've heard that this is an interesting examination of pregnancy from a different lens than you're going to get in a lot of Western media, where pregnancy is thought of as like this blessing, this magical thing that happens. Like, it's not how it's presented in here. So I'm very interested to read it. You know, I'm a little bit afraid to read it because I have this like super fear of pregnancy, because to me pregnancy is like this parasitic thing and a nightmare. So I'm a little bit nervous about reading this, but I'm going to do it because I've heard it's interesting. And if it really starts to hurt me, I will put it back down. All right. And then On the 23rd, I have 2 books due. The first one is Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Poranek. And this one, it was on my last month's TBR. It's still here. This one is, I think, just the size of it. Like, can we stop making books this tall? Because this is just intimidating. This book is bigger than my head. Like, why is it this tall? It's so intimidating, all right, for me to pick it up and be like, yes, I think I shall read this massive book. I don't know. It's just so intimidating. It's a little bit overwhelming, but there's something about this where she has magic in a world where like having magic isn't supposed to happen or something. And she makes a deal with a forest demon spirit, and she finds out she's not the first person to make this deal, but will she be the first person to survive it? My guess may be yes. Oh my gosh, I feel like I need to make sure this isn't a series. I should have done that before, but I need to read this month. It's due on the 23rd, and I'm slacking on it. It was one of my like 24 for 24s. As you can see, like these are starting to stack up, and I'm just really bad at reading them. So then the final book, as of this moment, that is like a physical TBR, and that is Kindling by Tracy Chi. And yep, this was another 24 for 24. How many books on this right now are on my 24 for 24? Let me check. 3. Okay, only 4. But you know what? 4 out of 24 books in 1 month that are still hanging out. I think that's a pretty high ratio for that kind of thing. So this is Kindling by Tracy Chi. This is about a bunch of like warriors who are no longer needed, and they're struggling with figuring out what to do now. They're called kindling because in using their powers, they use up their like life energy or themselves. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but that's just the theory behind it. So like burns them up to use this power. And wars used to be fought using these people, these young people, but they are now outlawed. There is something that brings 7 of them back together, and I'm sure that it's tragic or interesting, at least. I don't know. We will see when I get to it. This is one that I've been wanting to read and I just have not got to it. I feel like sometimes I need that like kick in the pants from the library being like, you got to read these now or never. And I know it's not really never. It's just now or you return them to me and then you put another holdout. But for me, it feels like never because I will forget. But also my holds are full right now. I have 30 holds right now. But I have so many of these like are either books that are coming out later or the holds are on hold. It's rough. All right. It's rough. So I can't put anything else on hold. So I have to read these. I'm not going to put any of these on hold again. I have to read them or say goodbye to them indefinitely. So, okay. The other thing I wanted to check was my Libby because I have 2 audiobooks this month that I'm going to be listening to this next week. They are due. Well, one of them is due in 6 days, and that is just Star Wars from a certain point of view. 40 stories celebrating 40 years of Star Wars. Did that kind of work? Kinda. So it is just the same thing as this other book, but different because the other one I have is not The Last Jedi. It is The Return of the Jedi. It's set during that time period. This one is just some general stories, I think. And then the other audiobook I have is called The Buried and the Bound by Rachel Hassan. This is a contemporary fantasy YA debut about monsters, magic, and wicked fae. A dark entity awakens in the forest outside of town and starts to erode the barrier between like humanity and fairyland. She has to help somebody break a curse. I don't know. It was like an available now. Yeah, so I have that and I have the Star Wars book. And I have a lot to do this week requiring audiobooks. So I think I'm going to burn through both of those and then probably still be looking for more. I had another book on audiobook, but I just returned it because I have the physical book and I started listening to the audiobook and I did not like it. I didn't like it. I'm very picky about audio. Okay. It's a thing for me. All right. Anyways, so that is the 10 physical library books that as of right now I need to read. Here they all are. Oop. It's a much smaller stack than last month. Like, let's be honest here. And the fact that like technically I've already read 1.5. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it's technically 11 because I've already returned one. All right. I've already taken one as a failure. But here's the other ones, and then 2 audiobooks, which I will get through next week because let's have a little life goal. I just threw a book at Cubby. Take that, Cubby. Now we can move on from book talk and start talking about a little bit of a life update because I do feel like I need to let you guys know what's going on and what to be expecting here in this channel going forward. So my fiance had his consulate interview for his fiance visa this last Monday. It's Friday. Yes, I know what day it is. It's Friday. So he had his consulate interview on Monday, and he's going to be moving here from Australia in less than 2 weeks. And before he moves here, I have to like dismantle some furniture and paint ceilings and walls and deep clean rugs and carpet and build new furniture and replace ceiling fans and do a whole bunch of little stuff like that. On top of that, I have family in town right now. They're downstairs at the moment. I wanted to film this video before they got here, but this is my second time filming this video, and it just didn't, the first time was not good. Like, you could tell I was just like not feeling it. I was filming it just for the sake of trying to film it in advance. It didn't work. So here I am, and I have family in town, and I just have things happening like every day going forward for a while. And on top of that, I also am feeling like pressure from my other YouTube accounts. If you don't know, this is one of like 4 YouTube channels that I do things for, and I do weekly uploads on my Star Stable Online channel, which is like a horse game. I'm gonna keep doing those because they take like so little effort on my part, and they're so chill and fun to make. And then on top, I need to find a different phrase. As well as that, I also have an archive channel for Final Fantasy XIV where I'm currently working on uploading like every quest in the game with as many dialogue options as I can record. And that takes a lot of effort, and I have like a goal of getting to a certain point before the expansion drops on the 28th of June. It's a lot of words. What I'm trying to say is that this channel is going to kind of fall a little bit by the wayside for a while. I don't know what it is about this channel, but like the editing of it just feels like it takes so much effort, and I don't know if it's because it's like my face. I don't know, because all the other videos I make don't, and this is the only channel really that you will see my face on any regular basis. And so I don't know if that's it or what it is, but I just don't have the energy to really like put a lot of creativity into this channel. And I also find that because I am such a mood reader and my reading is so controlled by like the library hold schedule, it's hard for me to like come up with fun video ideas that's like, oh, let me read 3 new thrillers this week or whatever. Like, I just read what the library tells me I need to read that week, okay? So I don't know like really what to do with this channel going forward outside of just recording my like TBRs like today and my wrap-ups, which I'll have my April wrap-up next week. I have like a couple of vlogs recorded that just need to be like finished editing. Like a couple of them are just like a little bit of time away from being done. So I will have that stuff ready to go. But outside of like TBRs and wrap-ups, I don't think you can expect much new filmed content from me for a little bit. I can hear people moving around. That's another problem that you might have seen in a lot of my videos recently, is that people just come up here, which hopefully it won't be a thing in like 2 weeks. Yeah, the other thing is that I'm hoping in a month or 2, I will have the ability to record in decent quality, like not just right here. And it's a little bit frustrating to me because I don't feel like I can like really realize what's in my mind. And I think that's an issue that a lot of people doing creative projects have, is that they don't feel like they're quite at the skill level to realize what they want. And I know that the answer to that is to just keep going. But for right now, I'm too busy. I can't just keep going. I need to take a break. So this channel is going to take a backseat for a little bit. I will be attempting to edit and push out some old content that I've had that's just sitting around waiting for me to get around to finishing editing it. So I have a couple of vlogs you can expect. I'm going to take this like vlog that if you've been following me for a while, you've heard about it, of like this horror reading vlog. And I'm just going to separate it by book and upload it because I'm still missing 2 books. I'd wanted it to be like a 4-book vlog. Just expect those 2 books to pop up anytime now. They're just going to pop up whenever. And then I have like my Chestnut Springs reading vlog, which is pretty much mostly edited. I just have to finish it. And then I have like a weekly reading vlog I just filmed that I really want to upload, and a few other things. So there will still be content popping up here outside of the TBRs and stuff. And hopefully by the time that I run through all this backlog of content, I will be in a place where I'm comfortable like filming new stuff, because I do have projects I've started filming that are like long-term projects that I would like to continue and finish. But I just need like hopefully by that point I will be in a better like place for filming things. So yes, all right. I feel like I've talked 10 whole minutes extra just about life stuff, but I needed to put it somewhere. And I think I talk about it in my weekly vlog, but I don't know when that weekly vlog is going to go up. It probably won't be up for like 2 more weeks. And so I'm just going to say it here. That's what you can expect going forward is TBRs, wrap-ups, and just like me trying to get this backlog off my computer. So I'm going to be doing my best, but this is going to be my lowest priority in regards to uploading things and editing things for a while, because the other 2 channels are just like, I don't want to be like rude or anything, but they're just doing better. And they're also more of like my pet projects. Like the archive is my pet project. It's something that I was like, I really want to do this. And people were like, you're crazy, you're insane. And I'm like, I'm going to do it anyways. I love putting this together. So I really want to finish and keep that up to date. And then the other one is my SSO one. And that one's kind of starting to a little bit take off, where I can at least reliably like close to 500 views on every video. Whereas this one is like 7. So I appreciate all 7 of you who are here, but I just need to put my time into like other things for a little bit. But I will be back here. I love talking about books and I love watching people's book videos and things like that. So I will be back. I'm just not going to be like being very creative here for a while, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is that I will be posting content, but it won't be anything creative. All right. It's just going to be my wrap ups and TBRs, mostly because I want to keep myself accountable and see if I read my whole TBR or not. So yeah, I need to go though. I'm just rambling forever and talking in circles. So I'm going to go. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, if you are planning to read any of these books, and what you are up to. Like, what is the book you're most looking forward to this May? I keep almost saying April. I can't believe I keep almost saying April. It's crazy. But yeah, let me know what you think. And I guess I will see you guys. I've already lost kindling. I forgot it fell on the ground. And I'm about to lose this one. I don't know what I was going to say. I can hear children downstairs now. That means more people have shown up. But yeah, let me know if you've read any of these, if you're looking forward to anything this month, how your April went. Let me know. I will see you guys next week for my April wrap up. I'm kind of excited to talk about it. I have some thoughts on things. Yeah, thank you again. Please like, please subscribe. And I'll see you guys next week, okay? Bye-bye. 건너편에 앉아있어 한 걸음씩 가까이 더 기다리다 보면 알겠지 너 따라가다 보면 나는 네 자취를